There is one question. It arises in the quiet moments when the noise of the outside world fades. It can catch us unawares in the midst of a busy day or visit us in the dead of night. A question that sometimes sends a shiver down the spine. What happens after? When our eyes close for the last time, when the heart stops beating, when this body is no longer our home, what will become of me? The unknown is frightening, yet the very thought that an answer exists, that sooner or later we all find out, is captivating. And surely you too have wondered, who am I beyond this body, beyond this fleeting spark we call life? The conventional view tells us life is finite. Consciousness is a product of the brain, and with the brain's demise comes emptiness, the end. But is it truly that definitive? Thousands of accounts exist, stories from those who have been there, on the very threshold. People whose hearts stopped, whose brains, according to all medical indicators, ceased functioning. But their consciousness, it endured. They describe extraordinary things, a sensation of floating above their own bodies, the ability to see and hear what was happening in the operating theater, even with their eyes closed and ears plugged, a feeling of incredible peace, a release from pain, encounters with a dazzling, loving light, or with departed loved ones, the realization that they still exist. Let's recall the astonishing case of Pam Reynolds. During complex brain surgery, her body was cooled to a critically low temperature. Her heart and breathing stopped. The blood drained from her brain. Effectively, she experienced clinical death. Yet, upon returning, Pam described the procedure in detail. The doctors, their conversations, even a unique surgical instrument resembling an electric toothbrush, which she could not possibly have seen with her physical eyes. She even mentioned its blades were kept in a container, like a socket wrench set. Scientists like Dr. Raymond Moody and Dr. Bruce Greyson have spent decades collecting and analyzing thousands of such cases worldwide. They identified common features: the tunnel, the light, a feeling of all-encompassing love, a life review. These are no longer mere anecdotes. This is a body of evidence pointing to something fundamental. Our consciousness may not be bound to our physical form, but if consciousness survives the body's death, where does it go? Is it a singular event, or does the journey continue? The idea of reincarnation, the transmigration of souls, is as old as time itself. It features in the ancient Vedas, in Plato's philosophy, in Buddhist teachings, in the mystical traditions of Judaism, Islam, and even early Christianity. And today, science, albeit cautiously, is beginning to find startling evidence for it. Professor Ian Stevenson from the University of Virginia dedicated over 40 years to studying children's memories of past lives. He gathered and meticulously documented over 3,000 cases from around the globe. Children, often between the ages of 2 and 5, would spontaneously recount details of another life, naming people, describing places they had never been, recognizing individuals they couldn't have known, and even recalling the circumstances of their death. Consider James Leininger, a boy plagued by nightmares of a burning plane from the age of 2. He'd cry out, "Aeroplane crash on fire! Little man can't get out!" He described in detail a Corsair aircraft taking off from the carrier Natoma Bay and his death under Japanese fire. He named a crewmate. Investigations revealed, during the Battle of Iwo Jima, a pilot named James Houston was indeed shot down from the Natoma Bay. How could a small boy know such specific details? Stevenson also documented physical correspondences. Children born with birthmarks or congenital defects precisely matching the fatal wounds of the person whose life they remembered. For instance, a boy who recalled losing fingers in a fodder chopper was born with deformed fingers on the same hand. Or cases with 2 birthmarks corresponding exactly to bullet entry and exit wounds. It makes you wonder if these aren't fabrications, not mere coincidences. What does it mean? Perhaps the soul is a traveler, journeying through many lifetimes, accumulating experience, learning, and evolving. For millennia, philosophers, mystics, spiritual seekers spoke of the soul, of its immortality. Plato considered the body a temporary vessel. The Buddha spoke of the illusions that ensnare humanity. Rumi compared the ego to a veil concealing the soul. But why, for many today, do these ideas sound like fairy tales? It's interesting to look at history. Did you know that at the Third Ecumenical Council in 431 AD, the question of whether women had souls was seriously debated? The decision to recognize women as ensouled human beings passed by a majority of just 1 vote. And the Russian Orthodox Church only formally acknowledged it in the 17th century. And the concept of reincarnation? It was part of early Christianity, particularly in the teachings of Origen. But in 553 AD, at the Fifth Ecumenical Council, under pressure from Emperor Justinian, the doctrine of the soul's pre-existence and its reincarnations was condemned and effectively banned. Why? Perhaps the answer lies in the desire for control. If life is singular, followed by either eternal bliss or eternal damnation, the judgment often administered by earthly institutions, then fear becomes a powerful tool of control. Fear of death, fear of punishment. An individual fearing an absolute end is far more manageable. Consider this. If you have only one short life, what becomes paramount? Survival, success, accumulation, consumption. We enter a race where fear is the main driver. Fear of missing out, fear of loss, fear of being less than others. The fear of death pushes us to cling to the material, to seek solace in possessions, status, external approval. And a vast system is built upon this fear, a system that produces far more than needed, yet creates artificial scarcity. We discard millions of tons of food, whilst millions starve. We burn mountains of clothes while others freeze. Gadgets are designed for obsolescence, ensuring we buy anew. Less than 1% of the population controls the lion's share of global resources. Inflation, crises, wars. Every 10 to 15 years, something occurs that wipes out the average person's savings, forcing them to start over. This benefits those at the top. Resources are redistributed. Control is consolidated. You are kept in a state of perpetual need, dependency, afraid of losing everything. And in this race, amidst this fear, it's easy to forget. Who am I, really? Why am I here? Is it merely to work, consume, and fear? Who benefits from you believing that after death, there is only darkness? Those who wish to control you through fear. But what if all these ancient teachings, all this modern evidence holds truth? What if we are something immeasurably greater than just body and mind? Let's try to clarify the terms often confused. What is the soul? What is spirit? And what is the absolute? Imagine the absolute, or source, Tao, God. The names vary, the essence remains. As the boundless ocean of consciousness, the origin of all that is. From this ocean arises the soul, Atman in the Vedas. An individual spark, a drop of that ocean, embarking on a journey to know itself through experience in the material world. The soul is pure consciousness, the observer, the eternal I. And spirit? Spirit is the living connection between the soul and the source. It is the force, the inner compass or flow of life that guides us, directs us, whispers the path towards our truth, towards realizing our potential. It is the energy that animates the soul on its journey. The soul is the traveler, the body, a temporary vessel. The world, an ocean of experience, and the spirit is the guiding wind and the star map, helping us stay the course. Why then do we so often fail to hear this inner compass, this voice of the spirit, this whisper of the soul? Because from childhood, we are taught to listen to another voice, the voice of the ego. A child is born pure. They simply are. But then they are told, be good, do this, not that. You are valued if. We are taught to suppress feelings, meet expectations, prove ourselves, earn love and approval. We identify with our thoughts, fears, achievements, roles, past experiences. The ego is our protective mechanism, our social mask built on fear. It shouts, be afraid, you're not good enough, you must compare yourself to others, you'll be lost without me. The ego feeds on drama, conflict, past grievances, and future anxieties. But the soul, it speaks in a whisper, through intuition, that gut feeling, through a sudden sense of joy or peace for no apparent reason. Through interest, when something truly captivates you, it's a sure sign you're on your soul's path. Through resonance, when you meet kindred spirits or find places that feel like home. The soul's voice doesn't coerce, it gently guides. It's felt in the heart, not the restless mind. Remember those moments watching a sunset, filled with an inexplicable sense of awe, when music moved you to tears, when you did something simply for the joy of it, without thought of the outcome. Those were glimpses of your soul. So, is it possible to awaken one's soul? To reconnect with the true I? Yes, it's a path requiring attention and courage. The courage to look beyond habitual beliefs and fears. Start small. Observe your thoughts without identifying with them. Ask yourself, who is the one observing? Practice silence, even just a few minutes daily without gadgets or external noise. Listen to your body, to your feelings. They often speak the truth before the mind does. Right now, if you can, close your eyes for a moment. Take a deep, slow breath and release. Feel your body. Notice the thoughts that come and go. Notice the sounds around you. Now ask yourself, who is perceiving all this? Who is this silent witness? Perhaps this is the first step towards meeting your true self. This path isn't always easy. Old habits, fears, mental programs can pull us back. If you feel stuck, living someone else's life, lacking clarity or energy for change, know you're not alone. For those ready for deep transformation, who wish not just to learn about the soul, but to start living in alignment with it, regain energy, and find their true path, I run name of workshop or course, e.g., the Life Reset Program. It's a step-by-step system helping you move from survival to full realization. Details are via the link in the description. So, what does understanding, or at least allowing for the possibility that we are more than the body, offer us? That the soul might be immortal, journeying through countless experiences? It changes everything. First and foremost, the fear of death diminishes. It ceases to be an all-consuming terror paralyzing the will. life stops being a desperate race for survival. Without this fundamental fear, the entire system of control built upon it begins to crumble. Manipulation becomes harder. Imposed values lose their appeal. One begins to seek one's own meaning, one's own path, one's true desires. Mistakes are no longer seen as terminal judgments, but become lessons on the path. Life transforms from a battlefield into a school, an amazing adventure of discovery. Compassion grows for oneself and fellow travelers. When people realize their eternal nature, the focus shifts from accumulation to creation, from consumption to growth, from competition to collaboration. A world where everyone feels their connection to the source and their inherent value. That is a very different world indeed. Does the soul exist? Does consciousness survive death? Is there reincarnation? We've presented you with evidence, research, ancient wisdom, and possible reasons why we might have forgotten. Conclusive, irrefutable scientific proof that would convince every skeptic doesn't yet exist. But the volume of circumstantial evidence, personal experiences, and profound inner insights is vast. And the crucial question isn't about blind belief or disbelief. The crucial question is, but what do you choose? Which worldview offers you more freedom, meaning, joy, and love? To live in fear of oblivion, in the endless race of consumption, or to allow for the possibility that you are an eternal soul here in this world for an extraordinary journey of self-discovery. Perhaps the answer has resided within you all along. You only have to listen. If this video resonated with you, if it made you think, please share it with others who might find it meaningful. Like the video if you found value in it. It helps the channel grow. And of course, share your thoughts in the comments. What do you think about the soul? Have you had any experiences that go beyond the ordinary? Your stories and insights are incredibly important. Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss further explorations into the depths of our consciousness and the true nature of humanity. Thank you for your time and attention. Until next time.